We've got a constable on the way to you, Mrs. Prebble. Just hang on, love, eh?
They've got me frightened out of my wits, Sergeant. They've been banging on bin lids, shouting abuse, threats, all sorts.
Yeah, well, he'll be with you in a minute, love. You want to get somebody to stop with you for a few nights, Mrs. Prebble. Give you a bit of company, eh?
I'm on my own, Sergeant, ever since Jack died. You don't know. It is hard coping on your own.
Talking to Sergeant John Levitsky on police call. The time on Radio Lancashire's first edition, exactly 7:45.
And you needn't think you can get away with hiding your filth under the bed, neither. Here. Did you hear me? What do you want for your dinner?
Steak pudding.
You'll be like house end!
George. Joseph, you still here? Haven't you got a home to go to?
Just pop back for a word, ma'am.
Ah, I thought you must have run out of tea.
It's Mrs. Prebble, Mum.
Had us out at 5 this morning.
Good Lord, Han.
Same as before. She's decided to come and see you about it this time.
Why me?
Must be getting desperate.
Must she?
I don't think I meant that quite the way it sounded.
Glad to hear that, George. Right, you better come into my office, Joseph. Fill me in with the details.
Right, ma'am.
You too, George. Finish your teas first, of course.
Oh. Digging for gold?
There's an obstruction somewhere.
Oh, an obstruction, eh?
Yes, an obstruction. It's flooding the yard.
Well, there's lots of underground streams round here, you know. It's these hills. Of course, coming from London, you'd not know about that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they must be blocked. I can't find where.
See, it's unpredictable water. I mean, streams change course and crop up God knows where. Right under your house, some of them. Flood you out before you know where you are.
I can't see what's wrong.
You're artistic, aren't you?
Artistic?
Yeah, pictures and that. You paint pictures, don't you?
Oh, I see. Yes, I illustrate children's books.
Yeah, that's it then. Well, you shouldn't take it so much to heart, lass. It's only water.
Look, it'll be in the kitchen before I know where I am. Could you help me? I thought maybe I ought to check the main drain out in the street, but I can't get the manhole cover off on my own. Look, I've got a wrench.
That's man's work, that. You need a man.
Yes, well, I haven't got one, have I?
About right and all. Don't know how to hang on to them nowadays.
What did you say?
Oh, you look like you need a good, strong brew.
Oh, look, what about the manhole cover?
Come on. I'll sort you. Oh. Oh.
Have a seat. What on earth?
Something wrong, Mum? I'll deal with this, shall I?
Deal with it? What do you mean, deal with it, George?
What is it?
Can't just let it go. Anonymous letter. It's a proposition.
What sort of proposition?
Joe!
May I,
Not very funny if you ask me. Somebody tying it on me because he knows you're, well, on your own.
Trying it on?
Perhaps I should go. I could show you a good time. I've been a bit short in that department lately.
Oh, it's that sort of proposition. In that case, I agree with George, ma'am.
Chances are it's from inside the force anyway.
I doubt that, ma'am.
One of my fellow officers' idea of a joke. Well, we have more important things to concern ourselves with than someone's adolescent humour.
If you say so, ma'am.
Boys will be boys. Now then, fill me in with this business at Mrs. Preble's.
They're not worth it, you know. None of them are.
Who?
Men. I should know. Mine died on me 5 years since. Now I've got the lad. Oh, is this your sugar? You know, I wonder you stopped on here after he left. Still, it's as well you didn't have any children, any road. Neither use nor ornament.
I got the impression your son was pretty handy.
Oh, David? Well, I'll miss him when he's gone. He'll be off sooner or later, I expect, with some young tart. I found some of them magazines, you know, under his bed again this morning. Still, he's a man. He's got his needs, I suppose.
Thank you. This is kind of you, Mrs. Ashton. I really ought to be trying to get that manhole cover off.
Oh, now, look, you want to leave all that kind of thing to the men. I've seen you out in that allotment, digging.
Well, I grow my own vegetables.
Money's a bit thin on the ground, is it, since he left?
No, I just believe in being independent, that's all. Not very satisfactory, is it?
No, it's not, but I don't see what else we can do. Fact is, every time we get there, Mrs. Preble's birds have flown.
No ideas who it might be.
Young boys out on the rampage. Could be anybody.
You can't recognise any of them?
Too scared to look out of the windows, if you ask me.
Can you blame her?
No. It must be pretty frightening.
She's getting on a bit now. Nearly 60. It's not right her being stuck out there on her own.
I quite agree.
Crack of dawn, though. It's a funny time, that. Most lads with a skin full have gone home long since.
Strange, certainly. Maybe somebody's setting her up.
For what?
If we knew that, we'd know who they were.
That's true.
How long has she been widowed?
About 15 years now.
I must be all of that. Jack Preble, he used to run the place as a proper small holding. She's still got a goat and a few hens, but I think she's been at the shoe factory ever since he went.
She's not had an easy time of it, then?
Not so as you'd notice, Mum, no. Speaking of which, if you don't mind me asking, are you managing all right, are you?
Me? Yes, I'm fine, Joseph.
Of course, I know it's a long way. Your husband can't get home all that often, but, well, you know, we, the lads, we're always ready if you want anything.
Yes, I know. Thanks, Joseph.
What's up with you?
First, help me up.
Oh, use a cloth.
I've got to get onto Mrs. Shaw's back before she's at me again.
I pity the lass you take up with, if you ever do.
Oh, you've given me too much.
Get it, Ed. You'd be like house end.
Read your book, Mother.
That young lass down the other end was asking after you.
What young lass?
Her that he left, down the end.
Oh, her. What's the book about?
She's not so bad, you know. It's a bit snotty, but it's only her way. And she has suffered.
Good story, is it?
Men. It's not so bad. It's all about this lass, Glenda. And she's running from her wicked auntie's henchmen, all through the forest, all torn and bleeding. And she's captured by this outlaw, and she hates him with a fury that knows no bounds. Until she finds out he's a long-lost lord. Then she falls in love with him. Has to use all her feminine wiles to make him marry her.
That's a secret, is it? Got to be a long-lost lord. I knew there was something to have a short on.
You gonna see her, then?
Who?
Her, down the end.
Oh, her. Snotty-nosed cow. What's she want, anyway?
I don't know. The drains are blocked or something. The yard's flooding. Be the kitchen next. I said you'd sort it.
Oh, Mother.
I told her you'd put a bill in.
It's like trying to get blood out of a stone trying to get money out of your neighbours. I don't like doing for neighbours.
Look, the poor lassie's all on her own. I said you'd sort it.
Oh, she's not a bad lucre, I suppose.
Fancies herself, you mean?
Mother said he got a problem. Smells like sewers, all
I
right.
am grateful. Hope I haven't dragged you away from another job.
Not had a brew yet. Filthy, rotten jobs, these.
Of course, I'll pay you the going rate.
This, Mrs. Preble outside, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I was expecting a jury.
Would you come this way, Mrs. Preble?
Hello, Mrs. Preble. Do sit down.
Thank you.
Now I hear you've been having a lot of trouble.
I'm at the end of my tether. I really am. Stuck out there on my own. I could be dead for days and nobody'd be any the wiser.
At least you got the telephone in, Mrs. Preble. You know we're always there if you want us.
Fat lot of use that is. Always too late, aren't you? And not that I blame you, mind. It is a long way out. If I were near in, it'd be easier.
Yes. Oh, well done, Martin. Thank you. You'll have a cup of tea, Mrs. Preble.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm all to pieces. It's my nerves. I can't sleep nights for fear of what's going to happen. And then there's my arthritis.
Yes, thank you, Martin. What about your work? Are you managing to get in for your work?
I manage. We're on the 3-day due just now at the factory. Anyway, I'm due for retirement next year. I'm just trying to eke out till then.
Have you thought of moving, Mrs. Preble? Maybe to a council house? There's the old folks' bungalows. They're on the outskirts of Hartley. Do you know ones I mean?
I can't get on the list till gone my birthday. Be a long wait then, you know how it is. Not that I want special treatment, mind, oh no. You just sort out them hooligans that is bothering me, and I'm quite happy to stay put.
You feel you could manage, even with your arthritis?
Well, it's not so much the cold and the long hill you have to climb, it's the damp makes it worse. Them old houses, no damp courses are out. And my arthritis is getting worse. But I can manage.
Well, we'll just have to see what we can do to sort it out, won't we?
Can I help?
No!
All right, love.
Yes, Tar.
Bye, you're game, aren't you?
Sorry?
Mucking in. Won't catch many women doing that. Chucking bucketfuls of sewage out of garden wall.
Well, equality works both ways, you know.
Don't tell me you're one of them women's livers.
Like a biscuit?
Yeah, tar. Great.
What's the matter?
Plug, it's dangerous.
Oh, it's all right.
I can't leave with it like that.
Look, I can change a plug.
Look at it, it needs cutting back.
But-
Oh, aye. You read these and all, dear. D.H. Lawrence, eh?
It's very good.
Strong stuff.
I'm very grateful you came round, really.
Oh, it's okay.
Will you send a bill in, or...
You want to
shall
get together with the rest of them. My mother knocks back 2 or 3 of them a week.
I don't seem to have a lot in common with the people around here. How about you? You go out a lot, do you?
Yeah, pub. Once or twice a week, you know. Snooker. Take a girl out, maybe.
Very nice.
You want to get out a bit more.
Yes, well, it's a bit difficult on your own. People think you want to pick someone up.
Even when you do, eh? No offence meant.
Oh, no, of course not.
That's all right, then. You'll, not know many folk around here.
No, not many. Well, it's a bit isolated, isn't it? Still, it was nice to get to know some of my neighbours at last.
Yeah, very nice. There you are, then. Better, isn't it?
Much. Oh, thank you very much. That's smashing.
Oh, any time. What else wants doing while I'm here?
No, I don't think so. You've done more than enough, thank you.
Well, if you think of anything, just ask. Don't be shy.
All right, I won't be shy. You haven't finished your tea.
Well, I'm not used to drinking eau de cologne, am I?
Oh, it's China tea. I'm sorry.
Thirsty work doing drains.
Yes.
Could do with a pint, really.
Oh, well, I don't think I've got some lager.
Yeah, come on, let's celebrate. Have one with me, eh? Come on, we've done enough grafting for one day.
Well, that's been quite a day. I could do with loosening up.
Have we anyone who could do an extra few hours tonight?
Tonight, Mum?
Bit short notice, I suppose.
Well, it's always young Martin there.
I was going to the New York City Zoo tonight, man.
Animals will keep, won't they, lad?
It's a disco, sir.
I know.
It's up to you, Martin.
Well, of course, if you need me, man.
Good. You better get off home then and get some rest, because I'm putting you on an important stakeout tonight and I don't want you falling asleep.
Right, ma'am. What am I going to be staking out?
Mrs. Preble's cottage. See if we can't catch these hoodlums of hers red-handed, banging on her bin lids.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't like to think that I'm keeping you from your work.
Well, it's okay. Unless you want rid, like.
Oh, no, of course not. I'm glad of the company.
Yeah?
Only...
Got you sorted any road?
Yes. Yes, I'm very grateful. But I'd better get the yard cleaned up now, though, hadn't I? Then I can get on with my work. Keep the shekels rolling in. It's hard enough these days, isn't it?
All right, are you?
Sorry?
Money-wise?
Oh, yes, don't you worry. Your bill will get paid.
No, don't you worry about that.
Sorry?
Neighbours, aren't we? I mean, if you're short, pay me any time when you're ready.
Oh, that's kind of you, but I'd rather keep things straight.
Well, of course, you could always, pay me in kind. See, I knew you weren't so prim as you looked.
Me? Prim?
Women. Not snotty-nosed at all, are you, love?
No, of course I'm not.
One of the lads, eh?
Yes.
Well, not quite, eh?
No, I can't lift a manhole cover off.
Make up for it in other directions, though, don't you, love?
Sorry?
Now then, don't go prim on me again. Maybe you need a bit more loosening up.
Look, don't get the wrong idea.
Oh, I see. Playing hard to get, are we?
No. I'm not into playing games, Mr. Ashton.
Aren't you? Teasing, eh? Like to keep us guessing. Part of your feminine tricks, isn't it?
Look, I said I'd pay your bill and the job's done. Now go away.
No. You don't want that. Not really.
Hey, you coming to do this bath?
Sorry, I got held up. Down the end wanted a drain sorting.
Outsiders. Cause all the trouble.
I'm sorry about all the toing and froing to the hospital, Mrs. Mitchell. But you will appreciate, I'm sure, that a medical examination is essential to an investigation of this type. Now then, if you don't mind, I have to ask you a few more questions.
Have you checked your radio?
Yes, Sergeant. I've got a flask of tea, and I'm wearing my thermal underwear.
Proper mollycoddled, aren't you? All right, off you go then. And remember not to disturb Mrs. Preble. She's nervous enough as it is. Let's hope she sees an end to her troubles tonight.
I'll do my best, Sarge.
Ah, you're back, ma'am. Yes, that's right. Well, yes, there is something.
Why did your husband leave you?
What do you mean?
Well, maybe he was having an affair with someone. Or maybe you were. Yeah. Oh, yes. Come in, Jean.
Thank you, sir. I'm Inspector Darby, Mrs. Mitchell. I hope you won't mind me sitting in.
No, why not? Public exhibition, aren't I? He's trying to make out that I'm some sort of a...
This is just routine questioning, love. We've got to be sure, you see. We've got to be sure that something really happened, Mrs. Mitchell, before proceeding.
Look, of course something's happened.
Maybe, you exaggerated. Look, you live alone. You're young, attractive. Now, you were wearing clothes that some people might consider provocative.
What, provocative?
No bra.
I never wear one. Why should I? Anyone would think I was wearing a see-through nightie or something.
The clothes you were wearing at the time of the alleged assault.
Yes.
Now, they were your normal clothes, were they? I mean, you're normally dressed like that, do you? Much the way that you are now?
Yes.
Now, you said that Mr. Ashton asked you for a beer. Now, you sure it wasn't the other way round? You didn't suggest it.
No.
But you had one with him.
Yes.
Only one?
Look, you are making me feel guilty.
With respect, sir, I would suggest that Mrs. Mitchell is very tired and distraught and might like a moment to gather herself together.
I don't know. Maybe it is my fault. I just don't know anymore.
You let him on, did you?
I don't know. I didn't mean to. Oh, God, I might have known. It's my own stupid fault.
She said she were glad of me company. Lonely. I mean, she gave me a beer, asked me to stay.
She asked you?
I think so. She gave that impression any road.
And is that why you attacked her?
No, I didn't. I didn't attack her.
So, Mrs. Mitchell joined you in a drink?
Yeah. She said she needed loosening up. Well, I mean, we all know what that means.
Apparently, Mrs. Mitchell suffered considerable bruising.
Yeah, well, some women do bruise easy, don't they? She was playing hard to get, you know. Women do. She'd say no, and then she'd act all grateful. Well, I mean, what were I to think? They read about it. All the time. Me mam does. She reads these stories, tells me about them when she's run short of gossip, about women falling for men that have been a bit... She had one.
Who?
Mrs. Mitchell, she had one of those books, I saw it.
What was the title? Can you remember?
Dear... Women in Love, D.H. Lawrence. Anyway, I did her drains for her.
She said you were going to drop in a bill and she would pay you in cash.
Yeah, crying poverty, wasn't she? Giving me hints, you know. Look, the whole thing were a favour, wasn't it? I gave up the best part of an afternoon's work to sort her out. She could have got the counselling. I'll tell you what it's all about. It's her getting back, isn't she? She's got it in for men, she has, since he went. That's what it's all about.
in order to pick up the infant to see what sex it is. It's their way of getting to know and place the newcomer amongst them. Below, the male juveniles are already at play. As they grow up, they wrestle among themselves and establish their order of rank in the hierarchy.
Seven three to Hartley.
Hartley, yes, Martin?
Just reporting in, Sarge.
All quiet, is it?
There ain't no one but us chickens here, Sarge.
Right, don't waste your batteries then.
I think they're all free range, Sarge.
Hartley out.
We could hardly keep him, could we? I mean, he's a nice enough lad. Lives with his mother, no previous record.
With respect, sir, it's not a crime where previous records count for much, is it?
Jean, now look at the facts. 1. She let him into the house of her own free will. She invited him in.
Yeah.
2. Attractive, divorcee, good figure. Not exactly trying to hide the fact, was she?
She knew him. Why shouldn't she let him in? In the majority of reported rapes, the assailant is known to the woman. That's why she lets him in. She trusts him. Why not?
So you think there's a case, do you?
I'm just not as sure as you that there isn't. I don't know. I got a letter this morning asking me out. Blind date. Now, suppose I'd gone on that date. I'd have been asking for trouble, wouldn't I? But supposing someone I knew, not well, but knew, car mechanic, for example, supposing he comes to my house to look at my car, and it's cold, so I ask him in for a cup of tea. Would I be asking for it then? It could just as easily happen to me.
Jean, stick to the facts. Divorcee, good looker, reputation for being mean with money, not too popular with the neighbours. I mean, the woman next door said she thought Mrs. Mitchell was too mean to get a proper firm in to do her drains. Apparently, she even tries to maintain her own car.
I thought you did a bit of tinkering yourself. So, you think it was her idea to pay him in kind?
Yes. Got cold feet afterwards, afraid it might get wrong, so she telephoned us. Anyway, she said it was all her own fault. You can't say fairer than that, can you? I mean, you heard her.
Yes, I heard her. Well, thank you for letting me sit in, sir.
Always glad of your help, Jean. Mind you, I think it embarrassed him a bit, you being there.
Sorry about that.
Oh, come on, Jean. The case wouldn't stand up, and you know it as well as I do. Well, it's been a long day. Can I give you a lift home?
No, thank you. My car's outside.
Well, I'll say good night then.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, Joe.
Night.
I'm off home too, Joseph.
Right, Mum.
Oh, how's Martin doing, by the way?
Seems cheerful enough. Chirpy, even.
Good, good.
Hartley to 7373. Hartley to 7373. Come on, Elshaw, wake up.
Yes, Sarge. 7373 here.
What's going on?
Going on, Sarge?
Mrs. Preble says all hell's broke loose.
Where?
There. Her gang of youths. Banging bin lids, revving motorbikes, screaming, throwing stones at her windows.
Are you sure, Sarge?
Mrs. Preble just this minute phoned in. She sounded pretty near hysterical.
So what's going on?
Beats me, Sarge.
No, no sign of anybody?
Not a thing, Mum, seemingly.
I suppose Martin was in the right place.
Well, he was squatting in a chicken house. Stayed there a full shift, did the lad. Smelled foul when he came back.
Well, I'd better get up there, see what Mrs. Preble has to say for herself. Perhaps I should call on Mrs. Mitchell while I'm over there. Will you give her a ring, George, tell her that I'm coming?
There's no need, Mum. Mr. Logan's asked for her to come in again. I did say we'd collect her, but she said she'd prefer to come in a taxi.
What time?
Appointment's for 3 o'clock.
And neighbours think she can't afford to pay for a drains done, but she could afford a taxi when she wants one. Is the doctor's report in yet?
On your desk.
There must be some sort of misunderstanding.
No misunderstanding.
They were doing all sorts. Clashing bin lids. The language you wouldn't believe.
That's right. It's been a long time since you've decorated in here, hasn't it, Mrs. Preble?
Doesn't seem worth it.
Oh?
I don't intend to stay here forever.
You're thinking of moving, are you?
I've got a sister in Birmingham.
Oh, very nice. You're thinking of moving in with her? Well, that should sort out your problems nicely, shouldn't it?
Yes. Not that I've decided. It's not definite.
Still, you'd be living with someone then, wouldn't you? And that would be a good thing. Woman like you, arthritis, and after all you've been through, you're bound to feel a bit nervy. I think you'd be much better off living with your sister.
I am trying to get on the council list.
Yes, for a bungalow. I know. I checked.
Oh.
Of course, they're very nice. No stairs, handy for the shop, central heating, no more carrying coals, eh?
No.
But you would be on your own there. There's no warden, you know. Of course, there are people close by, but after dark, when the pubs have closed, you never know what might happen. You can scream blue murder when it's dark and nobody will come to help you.
But you'd come, wouldn't you, if anything did happen?
Oh, yes, we'd come. But we might be a bit late. There's such a thing as crying wolf, you know, Mrs. Preble.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, I never thought.
Was there ever any trouble with these hoodlums of yours, Mrs. Preble?
There was once, when Jack... But that were a long time ago. It went out.
It's a very serious matter. Wasting police time. You could be prosecuted.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, it'd get in the papers. Well, what was I supposed to do? You can see what it's like, damn miserable place. I thought if they knew I was being terrorised, I thought they'd have to rehouse me.
It won't do, love, manipulating the system for your own ends.
Why not? System's not fair, is it? Life's not fair. My mother used to say to me, if you want out, lass, it's no use asking, because you'll not get it, and she were right. You've got to box clever.
Not quite clever enough, eh?
You'll not tell the papers, will you? That'll be terrible. You don't know. I've lived here nigh on 40 years, but I couldn't live with that. I'd have to move.
Well, you could always go and live with your sister in Birmingham. How can I help you?
I'm sorry. I thought I'd been asked in for more questioning.
Ah. No, not as far as I'm aware. What I think we really need to know, Mrs. Mitchell, is whether on due reflection you insist on going ahead with the complaint.
What? That I insist on?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I don't think I can insist on anything anymore.
There was no need to get a taxi, no. We would have sent a car.
What, more police cars? My neighbours had enough of a field day yesterday. You don't think I should, do you? Carry on with it, I mean.
Well, frankly, we don't think there is much of a case. There's not much chance of a conviction.
But what about the doctor's report?
It states you've suffered trauma.
I can hardly walk. And I feel sick all the time. And I feel used and filthy and as if I didn't own my own body anymore. And it wouldn't have happened if what? If my husband, so-called, hadn't gone. Must be my fault somehow. Must be, mustn't it? What have I done wrong to deserve it? It must be my fault. I mean, some people just attract disaster, don't they? Well, I'm one of them. I mean, it's been one thing I've tried, you know, to make a go of it since he went.
I'm sure you have.
Look, is it my fault?
You said so yesterday.
Yes. Well, maybe I encouraged him in some way and said something that I don't know. And I know everybody thinks I did, and so I must have done. Even you, I've seen it written all over your face.
Well, it maybe could look that way. Mrs. Mitchell, you must understand that for your sake as well as Mr. Ashton's, we have to establish he has a case to answer.
And you don't think he has?
Let's go over the facts. You asked him in of your own accord.
Look, I knew him.
Yes. You offered him hospitality.
He expected it.
Right. But he says you gave him the impression that you wanted him to stay.
I was trying to get rid of him.
Then why did you give him a drink?
Look, I had to offer him a cup of tea, right? I was only polite after he'd put off another job in order to do mine. And then it was him who said that he didn't like the kind of tea I've got. I used China tea. And then he said, had I got a beer? Well, I was a bit taken aback, but I couldn't refuse, could I?
You didn't have to have one with him?
Well, he said that he didn't want to drink on his own, and then, well, I'd been so strung up.
You needed loosening up?
What?
That's the phrase Mr. Ashton says you used.
I suppose I might have done. I mean, it had been quite a day, and the kitchen had been in danger of flooding. I thought a beer might help.
Did you, at any point, actually ask him to go?
Yes. I said I'd got to get on with my work. I made a joke of it, you know, so he wouldn't feel he was being pushed out.
What did you say?
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yes, something about keeping the shekels rolling in.
You told him you were short of cash?
No. No, look, I mean, well, times have been difficult, you know, getting work. I'm freelance. I have to be careful. Oh, maybe I said something about that. I don't know. But I mean, it's become a sort of habit, I suppose, thinking about getting by and budgeting, because it's not easy.
Are you sure that you weren't trying to get out of paying Mr. Ashton's bill?
No, I couldn't cope with being in debt.
So now you are telling me that it wasn't your fault?
Well, no, I don't think it was, no. I mean, as soon as I knew what he was after, I told him straight, and that was when the trouble started, because he got angry. It hurt his pride, I suppose.
Mr. Ashton says you hate men, is that true?
Well, I'm not too keen. Can you blame me?
He says that's why you've got it in for him.
I haven't got it in for him. He raped me.
Have you had any relationships with any other men since your husband left?
Look, I can't win, can I? Because if I haven't, then I hate men, and this whole thing's a pack of lies to get back at them, and if I have, then my rapist's the victim of my unbounded lust. Look, come off it. You see, even you don't believe me.
Oh, yes, I do, Mrs. Mitchell.
What?
Of course, it's up to the DPP any final decision, but if you are prepared to stand by your original statement, I will back you. Though I have to warn you that if you do decide you want us to go ahead with this, what you've been through up to now will be nothing compared to what you have to go through in court. And we would still stand very little chance of winning.
Yes, but if I'm in the right, then...
I won't pull any punches, love. It wouldn't be fair if I did. If you were ill, very old, a child, or a virgin, the court might be more sympathetic, more likely to believe you. They take some convincing when the aggrieved is an attractive divorcee.
Oh, do believe
Then again, if your assailant had been caught breaking into your home and in the act of stealing your property, you'd stand a good chance. You see, whilst we in the force put life and limb before property, the law doesn't always take the same view. Now, if you had been scarred for life, physically scarred, that is, that would support your story.
So, it is my fault. It's my fault because I'm on my own and I'm young and attractive. It's my fault because I'm a woman.
You can fight it.
Oh, what's the point? I don't stand a chance, do I? I mean, the system's loaded against me.
Mrs. Mitchell, if women like you won't fight, what chance do the rest have?
Well, that's their problem. I've got problems of my own. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to sound so... It's just I'm too tired. Look, I've always tried to be straightforward and say what I mean, and I told him no. Why didn't he believe me?
What are you going to do?
Well, I can't stay here. I mean, it's bad enough before. And they'll all say it was my fault.
You said so too.
Yes, well, I'm a woman, aren't I? I'll have to move, I suppose.
I understand. Where will you go?
Back to London. Where else?
You won't be much better off there. The place is full of victims.
Well, I should fit in then, shouldn't I?
There's no point in feeling badly about it.
Is there not?
You're a copper.
I don't see that as an excuse.
Come on, Jean, you know better than to start identifying with the punters.
She was raped.
Was she?
Yes, she was. And we did nothing for her.
Maybe we saved her a lot of grief.
You are joking.
A lot more grief.
We always say that, don't we? I mean, everyone always says that. Why, I wonder?
Ours not to question why.
I can't get over the fact that there's people being damaged who never think to come to us. I mean, if victims can't rely on us, who the hell can they rely on?
You make it sound like we don't even try.
Well, do we?
We do what is expected of us, Jean.
Back to that one, is it? The public get the police they deserve.
I go further. The public get the police force they want.
Do they? All of them?
The majority of them, and that's what counts.
And Mrs. Mitchell, people like her?
Not our choice. We are servants, not masters, Jean.
Well, in that case, we really ought to sympathise. Don't you say? So.
Next.
Maureen, quick. It's your dad. Hide.
I've come for her.
You just get out of here. Go away. I'm calling the police.
She's coming with me.
No.
I'm taking her.
No. Everything you need for all weekend. Don't forget toothbrush, toothpaste, homework.
I'm going to kill you.
Don't, Dad. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed...
The only reason I will keep this gun with me is for you.
Holy Mary, Mother of God.
If you tell police I have this gun, They'll come after me. When that happens, I'll find you wherever you are and kill you.
Don't, Dad, don't.
You have no imagination, Tom Darbley.
I've got imagination. It's money I lack. Hey, this is us, isn't it? Hmm? Come in my dark room.
Could we talk about a guest room before a dark room? Well?
22,000? You're mad. We've got to find 6,000 quid. We've got 1,745 in the bank, 1,200 in the building stock, 2,000 for your mini if we sell it and you have my car, and that's it. Apart from my unemployment benefit.
You'll get a job.
I won't get a job unless we move. And we can't move because of your new promotion.
You'll get a job, Tom. I've got an interview this afternoon. And don't take a job because you're panicked about not having one.
And buy a house instead.
Not a house, this house.
Morning, Mum.
Morning, Roland.
Morning, Inspector.
Morning, George. Quiet now?
The Sir Optimist's phoned. They say the day best for your lecture will be the 16th. And would you confirm?
Right, George, thanks.
And, Mum, is it right you want parade, 9:30?
Sharp. Please.
I'll shout the word.
Morning, boss.
Morning, Joseph.
The houseman file.
Thank you.
You want a parade at 9:30? We'll be hard put to muster 5.
5 will do.
Oh, morning, Joe.
Morning, you old devil.
Don't call me old devil.
I will. You are. George, she wants it. Muster at 9:30.
Call's gone out, Joe.
What you got for us this morning, then, Ted?
I'll not tell you, and I'll not hang around. My time's valuable. I don't think you appreciate that.
I certainly do, Ted. I always have.
You said new inspector will be here at 9 o'clock. It's 12 past 9 on my digital.
Inspector Darbley is here. Just give her 5 minutes to put on her face.
What do you mean? Put on her face?
Makeup. The inspector that's replaced Mr. Widdop is a lady, Ted.
A lady? A bloody woman? I don't believe it.
Then you're almost as surprised as we are.
Sergeant Beck, give me the paper on Tatman and Fielding.
Yes, boss. Ma, this gentleman here, Mr. Ted Watson, he's been a very useful informant to us over the years. Says he has some information for us.
What's that, then?
I've just witnessed a rape, Mrs. Inspector.
A rape?
Yes.
Any report of a rape, Sergeant Beck?
No, ma'am.
Come in, Mr. Watson. Sit down. do you mean you've witnessed a rape? We haven't heard of a rape.
What's your name, missus?
Inspector Darbley.
You took over from Mr. Widdop. The woman's a bit of a bloody surprise.
What information do you have, Mr. Watson?
I want £5 for it. Mr. Widdop always give me £5.
Now, Mr. Watson, I neither know nor care what arrangements you had with my predecessor, but I don't drop fivers easily. If in future you have information about any criminal act, you inform us. Sergeant Beck, take Mr. Watson here to the interview room, see if he'll come up with a statement. Otherwise, I'll talk to him later.
Hey, look, I've told you I'm busy. I won't sit in any of your rooms. I've an appointment with my acupuncturist.
Come on, Ted, nice and quiet.
I won't go in your room. I bloody won't.
Come on, Ted, no
Leave off.
shouting and scrapping.
Well,
This
don't
way,
pitch
young
me
man.
arm.
Local colour?
I think so. I don't know him. Social call, sir.
Just dropping by. See how you are.
Thank you.
Been here a fortnight.
Exactly 14 days.
Yours is a very important appointment, Jean. Very few women in England running a whole town like this. Most of our ladies are hived off to Juvenile Bureau, Community Services, HQ training.
Yes.
There are quite a few around who'd be pleased to see you fail in any way. This is still the unliberated North. Men are men, or so there are pains to tell you.
I grew up with that, sir.
Yes, of course.
I'm grateful for your advice over the years and your efforts on my behalf. What about tea, sir?
No, I'm just here for the nod. I'm to see CID in Manchester. And I want to take a look at your new billiard table.
Not new, just reclothed.
Oh, will it make your team play any better?
I put 10p on it.
Next match against Ardot?
Yes, sir.
You're on.
I think Ted might be onto something. It does sound like a rape. He's prepared to make a statement, and he says he knows who the girl is.
What name?
Annabelle Porter, Waterloo Estate.
Hello. You Mrs. Porter?
Yes?
I'm Inspector Darbley. I'm looking for Annabelle Porter.
What do you want Annabelle for?
Is she here, Mrs. Porter?
She's not.
Can you tell me where she is?
Where else? At work. Industrial Estate, Cately's.
No, we phoned Cately. She didn't turn up there this morning. Are you sure she's not here?
Well, have a look, please, yourself. She's not here.
Where do you think she is?
I don't know. She makes her own life.
What time was it when you last saw her?
7:30, about.
What age is she?
16.
She may make her own life, Mrs. Porter, but the law is you're responsible.
Maybe she took the day off. Gone shopping.
Does she know of a man called Peter?
Peter who?
She doesn't know of anyone called Peter that you know of. Now, look, there's a possibility that your daughter might have been attacked.
Attacked?
We've had a report in from an old man out on Tomey Moor. It may have been mistaken. It might have been some other girl. But we have to find your daughter.
I don't know anything about this. If you've got anything to say about Annabelle, you must talk to my husband. He's at Johnson's on the estate. Annabelle's not here. I don't know where she is. You have to talk to my husband.
It's all right, love. It's all right. We'll sort it out. Thank you. Did you find anything on the moor?
No, Mum.
I still think we've got a rape. If the girl turns up, bring her in with her mum, all right?
Right. Oh, Mum, message for you from Sergeant Beck. Hartley Park, seen a Mrs. Maskell. Says her husband took her daughter off.
It's going to be one of those days, isn't it?
Looks like it, Mum.
you doing here?
She wouldn't come to the station.
Mrs. Maskell, you say your husband left home about a fortnight ago. Came back this morning and took your child away. You say it was against your will and the child's will. How did he manage that?
I don't understand you.
Well, if the child didn't want to go off with him, did he use force?
Use force?
Threaten you with violence, a weapon, knife, hammer?
No. No, he didn't, but he said he would be very angry if I didn't let him have Maureen.
Well, there's not a lot we can do. No use of force. It's hard to establish a father has abducted his daughter. I'll put out a description to our men and see if they can pick him and Maureen up. Then you can come into the station and we'll sort things out. You happy in your work?
Yep.
I mean with me.
Oh, aye.
No one will hold it against you if you want to transfer out from under my skirts.
No, boss. I'll give it a try.
Very generous, I'm sure. You'll give it a try. Come on, let's talk to Mr. Porter.
I'm saying note. I've a job to get on with, missus. I'll tell you what happened, but I won't make a statement. I had a phone call at work this morning from my Annabelle. Said some young man had assaulted her out common. She's staying with friends, I don't know where. So I phoned the missus and I told her to keep her mouth shut about it. Law means courts. I've been to court claiming compensation for my foot. They don't speak the same bloody language as me and you in these courts. They don't speak the King's English. And you bet they like a bit of dirt they can discuss and get a kick out of. By the time they're through with it, it's all upside down, inside out, all lies. Do you want to put a 16-year-old girl through all that?
We may not have a choice. And if we find out that something has happened to your daughter, I think you'll wish you had cooperated.
If you weren't a bloody woman, I'd belt you one.
Sergeant Beck, there's no reason for you to open a car door for me.
Yes, boss.
And what brought you to me?
I don't believe in the national health. I don't believe they cured anyone of anything.
Come now, Mr. Maskell. And that's not what I meant.
You've not seen my daughter ill. When she has a migraine so bad, she faints dead away. And God, I wonder sometimes she's not going to die of it.
Well, I've just given her a quick check-up. She seems reasonably healthy.
She's not.
Tell me, is there a stress situation at home?
What's that supposed to mean?
Your daughter tells me that you blame her mother for her illness.
I do.
Why?
Well, she'd not get propped up for Maureen. That's obvious. She takes her down Dr. Herrick's. Saving your profession, he's a bloody useless doctor.
No, I don't know, Dr. Herrick. Why do you say he's useless?
Well, there's a surgery queue a mile long, and he gives her a quarter of a minute and a prescription of naught no more than bloody aspirin. You want a proper job done in this country, now you have to pay for it like I'm paying you.
That's not necessarily true.
Don't argue with me. It is true. It is true.
Now, look, migraine in a 14-year-old child can be due to a number of causes. The main ones are stress or hormonal imbalance.
I don't know what that means.
Well, if you wait a minute, I'll tell you. Your daughter will have to go through a series of tests.
Tests?
To establish possible causes. I'll get my secretary to arrange an appointment for her at the County General.
Are you telling me I've come all the way here and I'm to pay you money for private doctoring just to get sent down to County General, which I could have got for free from Dr. Herrick? I wasn't born bloody yesterday, you know.
You You can get out of here, Mr. Maskell, and come back when you've calmed down.
Maureen? You better watch it wasting my time.
Get out of here, please.
Dr. Bowles, that young girl wrote this. She asked me to give it to you.
Come on, Maureen.
My dad will kill her. Tell me, ma'am, not to try to get me back, or he will kill her. Not to go to the police. I am all right. Maureen Maskell. Now, do you think your husband would try to attack you? Try to kill you?
Yeah.
Has he ever attacked you before, physically?
No, but you see, it's been boiling up. His rage has come to head. I know he's going to do something violent to me, to Maureen.
Tell me about Maureen's illness.
She's always had migraines ever since she's been a kid of 7. But lately, they've been terrible. He blamed me, blamed our doctor. She is ill, but not that seriously. It's him who's really ill.
Or his friends, love?
No one.
No one has no friends?
He has no friends.
Mrs. Maskell, we have to find your husband. And you have to tell me where to start looking.
Don't you think I've been trying to work that out?
Well?
Nothing. You see, he's cunning. No, it's worse. Sick in the mind.
Did he ever undergo any treatment?
No. Didn't really well to the surface till he lost his job. That's what turned him. He was always difficult. There was a great anger in him always. But from 14 months ago, when he got paid off, he became worse. It was mainly the money. He'd been earning 80 to 90 pound a week in the mill at Cleckwith, and then suddenly the dole. He couldn't cope.
We're going to take you down to the police station. We can't leave you here, not if you're in danger from him. Put a few things in a bag in case there's an overnight stay. I'll go inside. You stay here. You go round to the rear.
There may be a dangerous man in there, ma'am.
I'll be all right, Joseph. I'd like to check some of these buildings. I'd like you to stay here with the sergeant. Could you give me the keys?
How will you know which key fits which door?
I'll find out. Have you seen an ex-foreman of this plant, Rodney Maskell, round here?
No.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. I'd swear on God's honour.
Dolan, what do you want? Dolan, come up here. Dolan. Don't make a sound. Do you understand what this could do to you, love?
Put that away.
Turn around. Walk. Turn around.
Dad, don't do it!
Shut up, Maureen. Quick now.
I have other police officers outside.
Aye, and you tell them if they try any cheeky moves, you're the one that's for it. Come on, Maureen.
Use your personal radio. Phone divisional HQ. Ask for firearms officer and dog handler to attend. I'll phone headquarters. Where's the phone?
Inside.
Show me quickly. And I want to talk to you later. Where's Mrs. Maskell?
To the room, Mum.
Mrs. Maskell, did you know your husband has a shotgun?
Yeah.
Do you have any other information you're keeping back? Do you know it's an offence not to have given us that information?
Have you found her?
They were at the mill at Cleckworth. He threatened us with his shotgun. We didn't argue with it. They got away.
Is she all right?
Yes, as far as we could see.
Why can't you bring back Maureen back?
Now, Mrs. Maskell, I want you to think again. Isn't there a single person he turned to in trouble, a relative or a mate?
He had no friends.
Think about places. Have you always lived in this area? Where have you lived in the last 10 years?
First council flat, Casimir Road.
Yes.
Then cottage at Elfield.
When did you leave Elfield?
2 years back. No, I know he was right about it. It was a great big sprawling cottage right in the middle of nowhere, all old and ugly. But he loved it.
Why did you leave?
I couldn't clean it. No proper kitchen, with some loose roof slates. I said, we have to go modern. I can't take this. Saw a notice on it the other day. It's up for sale again.
Shouldn't we wait for some of the circus to arrive from headquarters?
We'll have a careful look.
I'll kill anyone who comes for her.
Inspector Darby to Hartley. Yes, Inspector. Miley Cottage, Millwater Lane. Rodney Maskell, 51 Burton Road, Hartley, discharged shotgun at me. I want firearms and sniper to hear, and please put radio on and talk through. Over.
I have all that, Inspector.
And none of them around. Where do you want them?
Just keep them well out of the way, ma'am.
Mrs. Maskell.
Wallace is getting her.
I don't want him to see her yet. Keep her well back. And for God's sake, tell everyone to be careful. Inspector Darby to Superintendent Lake.
Superintendent Lake, I'm at Hartley. How is it?
Serious. He's in this cottage with his daughter and a 12-bore. I've got him contained. Are you coming out, sir?
I'm on my way. Keep him contained. Start a dialogue. We'll sort it out. Over and out.
Is the chief coming, boss?
Mr. Lake's coming.
Well, I suppose we'd better keep things quieting down till he comes.
Until he comes, Sergeant, I'm in charge. I'll make the decisions, don't worry.
Yes, boss.
The batteries were flat, so I bought 6 U2s out of my own money.
Make out a chitty.
Oh, I will, Mum.
Not now, Roland.
No, Mum.
George?
Rodney Maskell. Inspector Darby. We're here, quite a number of us, and we have this cottage surrounded. We have 2 armed policemen out here. Now, you've discharged a shotgun, but so far nobody's been hurt. Before somebody does get hurt, and it might be you, you better put that gun down and come out.
You bloody woman, cop. I'll come out when I want to. My daughter Maureen's with me. Your bloody gunman won't be shooting me and hitting her.
Dr. and Mrs. Maskell are here.
Okay, keep her away, but I'll speak to the doctor.
I'm gonna kill myself and my daughter now unless you get your men away from here. You want me to kill myself and my Maureen? You want to watch it? A free show, I'll do it. The 2 of us have got nothing to live for. Nothing.
Inspector Darby to Hartley.
Receiving, ma'am.
Is Superintendent Lake still there?
Left 10 minutes ago. He's in his private car, ma'am. On radio, but we don't have contact.
Phone HQ. See if you can get a traffic patrol to intercept and hurry him up. Situation with armed man developing. He's now threatening life of daughter. We need him here very fast.
Oh, we'll not ever harm you, Maureen. The threat's for their benefit. Is the migraine a bad one?
Yes, Dad.
Oh, Maureen, sorry. But we will escape. You and me. I'll work out a way.
What do you think?
I agree with Joe. You've nothing really to lose having a talk to them. I wouldn't like the situation going quiet, giving him time to sink deeper into his mood.
Get Mrs. Maskell.
There we are. Now, take 3 more of these. They're only aspirin.
Dad, I need water to swallow them.
Oh, we've no water, love, I'm sorry. Look, I know they're bitter, but you'll have to chew them to swallow them.
Maureen! It's your mother! Listen! I know you love her, Rodney. I know I kept her from you. I won't do that no more. Just come out. Or let Maureen come out. I'll do anything you want.
You lying bitch!
There's a way out of this. If you won't faint on me with your migraines.
I'm not going to faint, Dad.
They'll think I'm threatening your life. I'll put a gun to your head and pretend I'm going to shoot you if they don't let us go. That's it. That's how we'll get out.
Mr. Lake should be here by now. Shall I try and find out where he is?
Super won't save you, Joseph.
It's his experience in these situations.
Go away, Joseph.
Yes, boss.
You just walk very slowly in front of me, downstairs and out back. I'll be behind you. I'll have my left hand on your left shoulder, right hand pressing gun into your side. I'll tell them to get back. We walk slowly to the car.
Dad, you say you won't shoot me.
No, Maureen.
You'd never shoot me.
Of course not.
I won't do what you tell me, Dad. And I'm going to leave this room now, Dad.
Afternoon, Mum. Have you got a statement for press?
Would you please get back? Go away for a moment. I'll talk to you later.
Just a few words on the situation.
My word is, if you don't get back there and stay there, you're obstructing officers in the execution of their duty.
It's my job to inform my readers, like it's your job to sort that bloke out.
Later! Get off with you!
Ambulance here.
Any sign of Mr. Lake?
None.
How would he stop me?
You will not leave, Maureen.
You said you wouldn't shoot me.
No.
You will or you won't.
Won't. They will shoot you. They will kill you. They know that you are part of me. Look, just give me a moment, will you? Just one moment. Come to a decision. I don't think we will escape, Maureen. I reluctantly conclude that. But they were not on me to capture. Neither me nor you. The innocent in all this. We
We are joined by love, Maureen. Will you remember that? Because it will always be so. And remember, please, for all time, that I love you, dearest child.
Yes, Dad.
Time to go. You lead the way. Do not turn around, Maureen. Do not turn around.
Request ambulance service.
Have you a statement, Sergeant Beck?
I have, Mr. Cowley. It rained a little this morning, but it was fine. And it'll probably rain again before today's out. But don't quote me till we've cleared it with our PR bloke at HQ, right? Thanks.
Well, how the hell did this happen? Didn't you make any dialogue at all with him?
We simply didn't have time to establish a dialogue, sir.
Let's talk about you, not we. Didn't you make any deal with him at all? What went wrong?
You can see what went wrong, sir.
Well, it's a hell of a cock-up, isn't it?
So?
Then I'll go to headquarters. Try to start to explain this. You better make your report.
I have to clear up here.
No. Chief Inspector Morell is coming. He better take charge.
City or county morgue, boss?
City. Organise Mrs. Maskell to identify the body, then wait here for Chief Inspector Morell. After that, pick up Mr. Porter. I'm going to find that girl of his. And that bloke, Peter.
Yes, boss.
Sergeant Beck.
Yes, boss?
Come here, Sergeant Beck. Don't ever call me boss again. Call me Ma'am. Don't ever open a car door for me, or an office door. I can do that for myself. Don't ever put your hand out to help me climb over anything. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here to stay, Joseph. So you can forget all those jokes about women and your snide looks. And then we'll be all right, you and me. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Tom.
Hello, love.
How did the interview go?
Oh, not bad. Said they'll let me know. Tell you all about it. Come on, come on.
I'm just putting a report in to type. I'll have to come back later to sign and dispatch it.
Well, I've got a bloody capon in the oven. It'll spoil if you don't come now.
Right.
What sort of a day have you had?
Not too good. I'm coming home now, love, anyway.
Right. Kettle's on.
Come on then, Alice, love. Let's be having you. Time you're out and about. Breakfast is served. Come on, love. No, madam. You are coming out. Well, that's enough of that. You watch your language, young lady. Who taught you to swear, eh? How's your neck, sweetheart? Oh, it's mending up nicely. Now, let's see what you've got for me. 2 today. Smashing. If this goes on, I'll have to think twice about having you on me dinner table come Christmas. Now, don't upset yourself, I was only joking. Now, I'm off to work in a while, so look after the place while I'm away, eh? Morning, Mrs. Timothy. Okay then, are you, Alfred?
I was, lad. Day started out well. Yeah, This came for you.
Grand. Take it for this too.
Thinking of starting a chicken farm?
Aye. For when I retire.
That'll not be long off now, will it? Hey, Joe. I don't know how to tell you this, lad, but this morning I saw somebody. Somebody we both knew from way back.
Ah, well, get on with it.
Well, there he was, walking up the street as if he'd never been away. Temple. Clive Temple. Well, I didn't recognise him at first. He'd grown a beard. But you recall him, Clive.
Aye.
Quite amazing, yours. Well, he's come back to Hartley.
Is it April Fool's Day or something, or just another bad hangover?
Joe, I'm telling you.
Either way, it's in very bad taste.
Joe, it was him. I saw him.
No, Alfred. You were mistaken.
I went to school with him. It was him, definitely.
You're wrong. He's dead.
Clive Temple! Marion?
Marion, I don't know where to find the words. I knew this would be it would be a shock. I knew that. Please, Marion.
No. No, don't come near me.
Let me tell
No,
you. Let me
no,
explain.
you get back!
Let
Get
me talk to
away!
you, Marion.
Get away! You're dead! You're dead!
Yes, Clive Charles Temple.
Hey, what's happened to the tea? You sent to China or what?
You can't rush tea making, you know, Sarge.
Oh, what stage are we at, exactly?
It's masking.
Right, up here.
I'll give it a quick stir. Inspector Darby's been making inquiries.
Give it a quick start. No disrespect intended, Sarge. There's a special art to tea making. We've already compromised by using tea bags.
The inspector could do with a cup like now.
She drinks a lot of tea these days, you know.
Perhaps she gets thirsty.
Well, let's just hope she's not getting addicted.
Just pour it, lad. Harley Police. Morning, Harold. How are the radishes?
Well, seems impossible to keep a low profile around here, Sarge.
How do you mean?
Well, the inspector knows about my girlfriend, apparently. She asked her name. Is there no privacy?
Well, David, it's plain something's got to you.
Sarge?
Well, on account of how you keep combing through your hair every other minute of the day. I mean, you're always at it. Enough to arouse anyone's suspicions.
Well, I've got to keep myself tidy.
Wow, a bit fussy is she, or Glenda?
I've got competition, Sarge, that's the point. There's this computer programmer after it. You know what they're like, neat, clean, well-advised.
Have you finished that report on the Clayton Street burglary yet?
I'm in the midst of typing it, Sarge.
Yeah, well, get it done, will you? Before you go off, please. I want it on the inspector's desk this afternoon.
Missing persons file?
That's what it is.
Clive Charles Temple. Something I should know.
Not particularly. All happened a while back. Before your time here, George. 10 years ago, in fact.
It's your life. Our life. He can't interfere with that. We won't let him. Look, love, he's come back because people do that sometimes. Return to their roots. Nothing more to it. What can he possibly expect of you now after all this time? Love, what can he do now? I'm asking you. You waited 7 years. As far as we were concerned, the man was dead.
Joseph, that report on the Clayton Street burglary, I should have it by now.
It's done, ma'am. I was just checking David's spelling.
Oh, has it improved?
Not noticeably.
Perhaps we should buy him a dictionary for Christmas.
Maybe his new girlfriend will teach him.
Spelling?
Joe? You'll be surprised, I know. Recognize me with the beard?
Aye.
Well, how are you, Joe? I wondered if I'd still find you here.
I can't talk now.
Joe.
I can't talk. I'm on duty.
Please, Joe.
It's not possible.
Well, can I come back later?
I'm working. You can see that.
When you're finished here, have a drink with me across the road. It's still there, I see, the old pub. Not fallen down yet. I saw it as I come in here.
Look.
I've got something to tell you. Something important.
I'll be a few hours yet.
All right. Shall I see you then?
Yes, I'll meet you.
Thank you, Joe.
Joseph, something the matter? You look quite shattered. Who was that?
Somebody I thought was dead. 10 years dead. I knew him. His name's Clive Temple. He disappeared from his home here in Hartley one morning. Not been heard of since. And then suddenly he walks in here like so. Who'd credit it?
You don't seem particularly overjoyed.
It's not that easy, ma'am. Clive was a mate of mine, a good mate. And then he just left.
Will you come in for a moment, Joseph? Why do you think he's come back now?
I've no idea, none at all.
Aren't you curious over what's happened? You say he was a mate of yours?
I can't say how I feel, ma'am, not rightly. It's a shock, no denying. I'd had warning he was back, but I couldn't believe it. That Clive, of all people, should leave his friends and family not knowing.
Maybe he had good reason.
I can't accept that, ma'am, with respect. 10 years of silence takes quite a lot of explaining.
And you've no idea why he went?
I saw him the night before he left. I'd been going through a rather difficult time with certain personal problems I won't go into. Clive came round to my digs to cheer me up. He left just before midnight. He didn't say anything about going away. That was the last I saw of him. His wife phoned me here at the station. Clive's gone. She was fairly hysterical. I thought he'd be back before long.
But why assume he was dead?
A man doesn't just disappear overnight without an explanation.
Oh, some do. You know that.
No, not Clive. It didn't seem possible. Not to go off without a word. I thought he must be dead after all this time. I was convinced of it. So was Marion. She even got married again.
Is she still in Hartley?
Lives in the same house.
You still keep in touch?
Well, I was Clive's friend.
Joseph, what did she do about her first marriage?
Ma'am?
I'm talking about Mrs. Temple.
What about her, ma'am?
She'd have dissolved her first marriage before she could get married again.
Well, I'm not sure whether she did or not. I know she called herself by her maiden name after Clive left. She didn't like to be known as Mrs. Temple.
But did she divorce this man Temple on grounds of presumed death? When did she get married again?
A couple of years back to a man named Kershaw.
Sit down, Joseph. Were you or any of his other friends in Hartley ever asked if you'd heard of Temple since he left?
No, I'm certain of that.
But it's likely that his wife's solicitor would have made such inquiries to support a divorce petition.
Are you suggesting she may have got herself married twice over?
It needs looking at, Joseph. It's a defence in law if you haven't heard from your former spouse for 7 years and have no reason to think them alive.
Then she's in the clear.
On a charge of bigamy, presuming it checks out. But for all we know, he could have been phoning or writing to her every other week.
No, there's been no sight nor sound of him, ma'am.
We don't know that, Joseph, not for certain. Was he reported as a missing person?
Yes, I've got the file.
And you're seeing this man tonight?
That's the plan.
Ask him to come and see me. I shall want him to confirm that he was totally out of touch with his wife for 7 years.
It's quite possible she did get a divorce, ma'am.
Yes, but if she didn't and she knows he's back, she's going to be in a bit of a state right now, isn't she, Joseph? She's going to need some advice.
Shall I go and see her?
No, I'll go. You need to talk to your friend, sort out matters between you.
Joe?
Yes,
Give me a pint. Name again.
I've got a message for you. My boss, Inspector Darbley. She wants to see you.
Me?
There might be certain legal complications arising now you've decided to come back. Because in the meantime, Marion's gone and got herself hitched again.
Aye, I gathered you. I saw her this morning. I owe you an explanation.
I don't reckon so. If you couldn't put yourself out to tell me at the time, then leave it be.
Oh, come on, listen.
Let it stand, Clive. You were missed, greatly missed. I can't say you weren't. I missed you. But folk get over these things, you know. The weeks roll by, then the years. I was mighty upset at the time. I thought we were mates. Mates hold things in trust. I thought you were all right. I was wrong.
Look, I'm here to explain. Explain what happened. Why I went off like that, like the reason. Only I'm finding it so damn hard. So you're going to stand there like some great big chimney breast eating with wounded pride. I had troubles, Joe, my God, I did.
I'm listening.
Well, give me time, mate.
What happened, Clive?
Well,
What was it?
You don't know what you're asking, Joe. You just don't know.
You look bad. Are you sick?
I'm not sure. I'm not eating today.
Not eating? Silly beggar, no wonder. Come on, drink up. You'd better get back to my place and have a bite. You can try some free-range eggs.
Are you sure, Joe?
Did you get a divorce before marrying again?
No, I didn't. 7 years had passed. I assumed he was dead.
Why did you assume that?
There was no reason to think he was still alive. He was reported missing. The police went through all the motions, but they couldn't trace him.
So after 7 years, you felt free to remarry?
I wanted a husband. I wanted children, Inspector. You can understand that.
Yes, I understand that. But I'm afraid it was necessary for you to dissolve your first marriage before remarrying.
What does that mean?
How did you describe your marital status to the registrar?
I used my maiden name. I said I was a spinster.
That wasn't true, was it?
Look, he'd long gone. So far as I was concerned, he was dead. It just didn't seem necessary to go through all the business of getting divorced. I never expected to see or hear from him again.
Did you consult a solicitor at the time?
No, I didn't.
Well, you would have been advised to petition the court for a decree absolute on presumption of Mr. Temple's death. And in the light of his return, I'm afraid your marriage to Mr. Kershaw is void.
Are you saying that our daughter was born out of wedlock?
My advice is that Mrs. Temple see a solicitor, Get a quick divorce and then you can remarry.
Look, he went off of his own accord. Now he's taken it into his head to come back. This situation isn't of our making. Why should our lives be disturbed?
It's simply a formality which has to be gone through, Mr. Kershaw. This is very distressing for you, I appreciate, but I'm afraid in the circumstances I must ask you some further questions, Mrs. Temple.
Right, well, let's get it done then.
What happened when your husband left?
He just went. It was a Tuesday morning. I woke up and found him gone. Just the imprint of his head on the pillow, that's all there was left of him. I phoned the council office where he worked, but I haven't seen him.
And you had no idea why?
What do you think when your husband walks out? What comes natural?
Had you been unhappy together?
Ups and downs.
Did you think he'd come back?
We'd been married 9 years. He wasn't an unkind man. He wasn't a cruel man. But I thought at the very least he'd come and face me and tell me that he wanted out and not just leave me high and dry. 9 years. Doesn't sound very long when you say it just like that, does it?
Did Mr. Temple subsequently attempt to get in touch with you?
Not a whisper.
No Christmas cards, phone calls, letters, things like that?
Nothing.
There were no children?
No children.
What happened about the house and your financial affairs?
Everything was in our joint names. He never drew on the bank account after he left. But will we have to go to court over this?
If Mr. Temple confirms your account, I shall submit a report to Divisional Headquarters recommending no action, and that should see an end to the matter.
I hope so.
Rub up. Well, that's a jewel bit fry up if ever I saw one.
What made you grow the fungus?
Something to hide behind.
Aye?
Got more like a policeman over the years, Joe. No innocent remarks for you, eh?
Force of habit. So what you been doing with yourself over the years?
Bummed around, mostly. Been all over, in fact. I'm a little town in Somerset as of now. Bed Street, nothing much.
How do you keep yourself?
Labouring on building sites, mostly. Nothing regular.
If you were in bother, why didn't you tell me?
I couldn't do that.
But I owed you something, Clive. I had that rough patch when I came back from Colliston. Things were falling apart. I was in a mess. You bailed me out. Took me out boozing, listened to the story of my sad life.
Aye. In a right state, I remember.
Not many people would have done it. Not for a copper. A copper doesn't have that many friends. Even in a place like Hartley.
I killed a man, Joe. I ran him down with my car and killed him. Hit and run, Joe. Classy.
Where? Where did this happen?
On the moors. I've been round to see you at your digs, and after I went for a long drive. It was quite dark by the time I came back across Shepherd's Way towards Hartley. So sudden, Joe. There he was, this cyclist coming at me. Twisting about in the road like the man was drunk. He was on top of me before I knew it. Oh, I tried to swerve. Just wasn't time. I rammed down hard on the brakes. The car skidded. I can still hear the scream of those tires. And then there was a loud bang. And the man was tossed up. He came winging across the bonnet and his face smashed into the window screen. And then he just slid away. Like a drowning man. He went under into the darkness. I panicked, Joe. I just panicked and drove off.
But you didn't report the incident?
No, I didn't report it.
Then stop now. You shouldn't have told me this. None of it.
It's got to be told.
Use your head. I'm a copper.
I've been eating up with it for 10 years. I just got to get rid of it.
You left Hartley immediately it happened?
Yes, the next morning.
Taking your car?
Oh, my head was in a fever, Joe. I kept going till I was exhausted. And then I found this piece of scrubland. No idea where, miles away. So I parked the car there. And then I found this length of iron bar. I started hitting the car with it. I went wild. I smashed it. Stuck in the window screen. I just hit out and hit out. My hands were bleeding. Cut all over. Oh, and then I just ran on.
Why did you smash up your car?
Because I killed the man with that machine, that's why!
Are you certain you weren't concealing evidence?
I haven't driven a car since that day, Joe.
You're an idiot. You made it look like it was your fault by scuttling off whether it was or not. You compounded the problem. How fast were you driving?
Not fast, 35, 40, no more.
Could you have prevented the accident?
I was upset. If all my attention had been on the road, then maybe my reflexes would have been that much quicker, I don't know.
What had upset you?
Oh, that's irrelevant.
Did it have anything to do with me? So is it now coming round to being my fault, this?
No, Jill.
Then what?
Look, when your mate has a big downer, you feel responsible. My mind was elsewhere.
What a mess.
Anyway, I've told you now. Oh, it took so much to tell you, Jill. I feel like I've smashed my way out of some dark, musty, closed-up room.
Oh, I'm glad for you. I think we'd better wind up this conversation.
I better go back to the guest house tonight.
It's not necessary. You can stay here if you want to.
No, I think I should go, really, don't you?
Maybe so. Well, Alice, what would you do about all this, then? Well, go on, tell me. What would be your advice? You're a fat lot of help. Only good for egg laying, young lady.
It were my fault, you see, in a manner of speaking. If I hadn't filled his head with my problems, he'd have driven straight home.
How could you know it was going to happen?
Doesn't alter the fact that it did. What would you do, George, in my position?
Well, possibly my first move might be to seek you out, Joe, and ask for some sound advice. I can't tell you. I mean, I'm not in your predicament. Maybe I'd report it come what may. On the other hand, perhaps your deaf aid wasn't working so well last night and you didn't really catch everything that was said.
No. I know a crime has been committed and has gone unanswered. I don't see I can ignore that just because an old mate's involved.
Well, I must be getting back. You have to decide, Joe. Only you know how much you owe this fella.
He did a lot for me. And now all I can do for him is to see him prosecuted. It's mighty hard. Who'd be a copper?
What will you do, Joe?
I don't know.
I can't ignore our conversation of last night. I can't pretend it didn't happen.
I understand that. Come in, Joe.
I'll have to report what you told me.
Ah, of course you will.
I go on duty at 2 this afternoon. That's 4 hours away. Time enough for you to be gone.
No, Joe, that's not possible.
Why? You disappeared easy enough before. You should be an expert by now.
Because I don't want to disappear. I came to you because you're the police, Joe. You're the law.
Are you looking for punishment or something? Is that it? I see you've been busy shaving yourself. Is that to make way for a halo?
Don't think this has been easy! It's taken me 10 years to come to terms with this.
Do you realise you could face quite serious charges?
I'm not exactly looking forward to prison, which I know I could get if it was manslaughter. Oh, I hope you understand, Joe.
Why drag me into this? You could have made your confession to any police officer.
Because I could not have got it out of my system, Joe. Could not have said it, not to anybody else. It had to be you.
All right. But you don't need me anymore. I'm not here to be used as some sort of medium for your long-distance conscience. You can walk into Hartley Police Station and make your statement to the duty sergeant.
Do this for me, Joe. Final favour. You needed a helping hand way back, and I did what I could. You think you owe me something? Then you do this for me. You take me in, Joe.
I've phoned headquarters, ma'am. They've dug out the incident file.
If the coroner returned an open verdict, there'll have to be a new inquest.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Joseph. This must have been very distressing for you. Is there anything I can do to help?
Not really, ma'am, thank you. It's now simply a matter of following standard procedure.
But would you rather somebody else handled the case? I mean, an officer not personally involved.
Mr. Temple has asked if I would deal with it.
It's not up to Mr. Temple, Joseph. How do you feel about it?
I know what's required, ma'am.
Yes, I know you do.
I feel a certain obligation to the man. I would like to follow this through. What are your instructions, ma'am?
All right, Joseph, you can deal with it if you feel certain about it. But if you don't mind, I will sit in on the interview with you.
Thanks, 6122. You go to Haveling Road. Out.
What's Sergeant Beck doing this morning?
Always some police business to attend to, David.
Is he all right? Looked a bit dumpy when he came in.
Well, we can't all be full of bright and clever chatter like yourself, son. The rest of us not having been born in Celtic wonder.
I've written it all out. Everything.
Just a moment, please, Mr. Temple. Before you do anything, it's necessary to caution you. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you say may be put in writing and given in evidence. You're offering this voluntarily as your statement?
Yes, I am.
This is acceptable. Will you sign the last page, date it, and put your home address on the bottom?
I'm sorry, have you got a pen? What will I be charged with?
That'll depend on what verdict the coroner brought in on the man's death at the inquest. You'll be informed of your position when the relevant papers are to hand.
I have to remain here?
That won't be necessary.
Yes.
Mr. Temple, did you tell your wife about the accident?
No, don't want to worry her, obviously.
But surely when a man's got troubles, it's natural for him to tell his wife.
Not something like this. It wouldn't have been fair. I couldn't involve her.
She must have seen you arrive home in a state of some anxiety.
No. Marion was in bed asleep when I got back. I left before she woke.
So she had no notion that this was the reason that you left Hartford?
That's right.
Sergeant?
Will you present yourself here this afternoon?
Of course. Thank you, Joe. Sergeant.
I can't stop. The baby's with a neighbour and I'm going out.
Well, I won't keep you, though.
Come in then. I'm seeing a solicitor about a divorce.
Yeah.
What is this? What do you think you're doing?
Please, Marion, let's try to stay calm.
I thought you were dead. I thought you'd killed yourself or died somehow. I didn't know what to think. Why didn't you let me know you were all right? You didn't have to come back here now if you didn't want to. Just so that I knew you were safe.
It was unforgivable, I know.
Oh, you're strong on understatement, you are. What in God's name happened to you?
By the way, Sarge, this came for you.
But we were married. Married. Husband and wife. But don't you remember the words? In sickness and in health, you stick by one another at such a time. That's what that means.
I couldn't involve you, Mary.
Well, that says a lot for me as your wife.
Why should you be burdened with something I'd done? Something like that? No, it wouldn't have been fair.
Fair? Well, that's a strange word coming from a man who deserted his wife without notice.
Oh, going away seemed to solve so many problems. Difficulties between us. We weren't getting on. Not really, were we? You wanted children so much, I couldn't give them. I thought you might find somebody else. I didn't want to interfere with that.
You're always so white about everything, aren't you, Clive? And now you've made this return to Hartley, something nobody loves you for, over something long forgotten. What good can come of it?
You don't understand, Mary.
It's trouble on your head. What for?
I doubt if I could explain it.
And now what's going to happen?
I'm not sure. I've got to go and see the police. There'll be a court case. You won't be involved, of course. I just wanted you to hear about it from me. And to know that I'm sorry about everything.
Oh, you're such a soft fool. You always were a fool.
I won't bother you again.
You certainly look fit and well after your new life. Different man from the one I knew. Someone must be looking after you better than I knew how.
No. There's nobody.
That's a pity.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to see your Sergeant Pink.
We've now received the incident file from headquarters. The man who died was called Lawrence David Simpson. He was 72. He lived in a cottage on the moor.
Did he have a family?
Yes, he lived with his sister, apparently. She, likewise, is no longer with us.
I see.
There was an inquest on Mr. Simpson's death. The coroner brought in a verdict in your absence.
Is that usual?
It's not unknown. Persons involved in road accidents frequently absent themselves or decline to give evidence. The coroner brought in a verdict of accidental death.
That can't be right.
I have it here.
But look.
The circumstantial evidence was fairly definite. 3 independent witnesses saw Mr. Simpson leave a pub in Hartley blind drunk. He wasn't a young man. There were no lights on the bike and his brakes were defective. The police photographs, the measurements of skid marks, the position of the body in the bike all indicated that he was cycling on the wrong side of the road. The case is closed. They're in the clear.
No. No, that's not possible.
That is the position.
It can't be.
The coroner,
I killed the man.
The coroner decided that the fault lay with him.
But I failed to stop. I drove on, hit and run. I didn't report it. Those are very serious offences.
That's right, but there's no way you can be brought to book. Not now. Not 10 years after.
But I broke the law.
There is a 6-month limitation of time on those charges.
I don't understand.
Those particular charges have to be brought within 6 months of the incident.
So there'll be no prosecution?
You have no case to answer. The report will be submitted to divisional headquarters in the usual way. You will receive a letter in due course.
We have your home address in Somerset.
And that's the end of it. I'll go scot-free.
There's no reason to detain you. Thank you, Sergeant. Good afternoon, Mr. Temple.
10 years. I don't believe it.
Hardly worth all the bother, was it? What'll you do now? Will you stay in Hartley?
No. No. I've caused enough disruption here.
Aye.
I did what I thought was best, Joe.
I hope you find a way of putting it behind you. That I do hope.
I'm sorry about it all, Joe.
So am I.
I'll be leaving this afternoon. For good this time.
Goodbye, Clive. There's always a spare bed at my place if you should change your mind.
No, thanks, Joe. I won't be back. You take good care of yourself now. I never did get to meet Alice.
He's gone. Kissed Hartley goodbye. So that's that.
How are you, Joseph?
A bit tired.
How about a drink later tonight? I'll be here.
No, not tonight, Mum, if you don't mind.
Oh, well. George Parish is buying, you know. His eldest has done well in his mock GCEs.
You say George is buying? What, drinks? You mean alcohol?
Can you afford to miss this, Joseph? I don't think so. What happened to him way back? He spoke of personal troubles. Don't tell me if you'd rather not. I'm only being nosy.
No, he's never said about it. No one seems to know. It's a well-kept secret, Mum. Phlegmatic fellow, old Joe. Hi, well, never mind about GCEs, Mum. I only just managed my sergeant's exam.
Evening, lads.
There you are. What'll it be, Joe?
Well, seeing as you are paying, George, I'll start off with a pint of best.
You sure about the pint, are you? I mean, you wouldn't rather start off with a half and work your way up gradually?
Well, since you raised the matter, a chaser mightn't be a bad idea. Yes, could I have a large scotch to go with the pint, please?
I'll remember this.
You look a bit down in the dumps, David.
Yes, Mum.
Have a drink, David. What'll it be?
Double vodka, thanks, Sarge.
Double vodka? Struth, what's going on? I've got to fork out for a new briefcase for our Colin. He's getting big ideas now, you know.
What's up with you?
My girlfriend's given me the push, Mum. Written me a Dear Joan. She jilted me for the computer programmer.
A computer programmer? Maybe you're best out of that, David.
She didn't have the decency to face me with it, Mum.
Oh, put it down to experience, David. All part of life's rich tapestry.
Yes, Mum.
Hey, that's too fast.
George, here's to your Colin.
Right.
Let's hope he doesn't become a computer programmer.
Yeah. Still, you've done the right thing, David, drowning your sorrows here with us. We're always available for such occasions, aren't we, Joe?
Absolutely, George. It's time for another round, isn't it?
You see, David, the force is like a family. You turn to it in times of strife because it's always there. Don't you agree, Mum?
Oh, if you say so, George.
Well, I mean it. I'm serious. When all's said and done, your real friends are here, in the force. You do well to remember that, don't you reckon, Joe?
Maybe so.
Folk come and go, ships passive. But your fellow coppers, son, nearly all reliables. You work with them, suffer with them, and you drink with them. Isn't that right, Joe?
Aye, George, that's right.
Sir? Don't know me, eh? No, sir.
I know you, sir. Detective Chief Inspector Leckie, Special Branch. This gentleman, though.
To see Inspector Darbley, we are expected. All teed up, Sergeant?
Sir?
Day after tomorrow, each yard each.
Just another royal visit, sir, isn't it?
Is it? Ah, Jean, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is, from London.
Oh.
Day after tomorrow, then?
Yep.
You have a problem.
What?
Talavera Street.
HRH will arrive Talavera Street at 11 o'clock to be met by the mayor. HRH will then plant a tree.
Then go walk about, as they say. Silver Band plays a selection from Merry England. Little Horror presses upon HRH a nosegay, thieved from some municipal flower bed. And with any luck, it'll rain and we can all go home. Unless, of course, HRH gets shot.
We have a name. Someone who lives in Corona Gardens. Is there anyone known to you who lives there? First floor back, overlooking Talavera Street.
Oh, come on, this isn't downtown Dallas. You're not serious.
Oh, but I am.
We don't get that many coup d'etats north of the Manchester Ship Canal.
You do read the newspapers north of the Manchester Ship Canal?
What my friend means is letters to the editor, which started off 3 weeks since with that from her, which was answered rather rudely with that from him.
Emeritus Professor of European History.
Which she countered with that.
V. Bastien Miss Hartley. Who is she then, V. Bastien Miss?
She truly believes that she is in direct line from medallions under the rhododendrons in Marienbad in 1887 of some sporting Saxe-Coburg Hohenzollern laddie with his French mistress. She thinks she is the Princess Tixier-Vazincourt.
Princess? She lives in Corona Gardens?
The Tixier-Vazincourt estates are in Lot-et-Garonne, though there is a cadet branch in Boissy-en-Artois. The family doesn't recognize her, nor does Burke's Peerage, the Almanac de Gotha, or Greenmantle persuade them to the College of Arms.
She's crackers, of course. Which isn't to say that V. Bastien Miss stroke Princess Tixier-Vazincourt from a window in Corona Gardens won't toss down the odd flower or two to our royal cousin, like maybe some geraniums in some pots.
It's what one might call the Anastasia syndrome.
White one?
The Grand Duchess Anastasia was a daughter of the Tsar.
Some say not shot by the Bolsheviks. Since when? One or other of her keeps popping up in Mönchengladbach and such places.
I know who the Grand Duchess Anastasia was.
So, this is a crazy old French lady who's angry because she feels she hasn't been given her rightful dues and title. She has a background of war service at the sharp end in the French resistance. She overlooks Talavera Street. It's a possibility she might use the occasion for some protest.
I see.
Take her out.
What?
Take her out.
Day after tomorrow, love, while HRH goes walkabout. What you do is take the old biddy to play bingo or something.
Me? Well, that's out of the question. This is a royal visit to my section. You get someone else.
No.
Well, I'm afraid you do. I'm sorry, but this is my town.
Not the day after tomorrow, Jean. The day after tomorrow, this town belongs to the Chief Constable, the ACC Ops, and the Lord Lieutenant.
When Detective Chief Inspector Leckie here approached the chief, the chief, suggested you straight away.
There is a risk involved here. And he thinks that you're the perfect person to deal sympathetically and properly with this old lady, and you're elected.
Well, I am very angry about this. There are plenty of other females in this constabulary to do this job, including special branch females. Why me?
Oh, come on, Jean. Look, we might be able to relieve you for a minute, get you into line to have your hand shook by our HRH, but no promises.
That is not what I'm talking about at all.
Jean, it's happened. Now, it happens to all of us. The order we don't like. That's the name of our game. But you just have to accept.
Well, I accept, but with very bad grace. Now, what else do we know about this woman apart from these press cuttings?
Well, the fact is, we don't know too much about her. We had a file.
Oh, you had a file. The spooks had a file.
Only some jokers had it away. After the war, I suppose. Anyway.
The file's gone.
Disons que cette grande figure de l'histoire de France contemporaine a disparu. Novembre 70. Dans les salles de rédaction, toute la nuit du 9 avait couru une rumeur sinistre. Le général de Gaulle est mort. Et puis brusquement, au petit matin, un flash d'agence confirmait...
Bonjour, mon général.
Well, thank you, Jean, for your cooperation.
Of course, sir.
We'll be in touch.
Right, sir.
Goodbye.
Sergeant Parrish, where's Sergeant Beck?
Checking report of traffic lights out, Crown Lane. Then he's gone over to some informant in Market Street.
See if you can get him back here. No immediate rush. Some major changes to the HRH visit.
Oh, why, Mum?
Cup of coffee, Mum?
No, Roland, not now.
What's the every mob want, then? Special branch. And others who move in mysterious ways. It's the royal visit.
What do they want?
Oh, I understand they're checking on us lot.
What do you mean, Sarge? Checking on us lot?
Well, it's obvious. We're going to be in the front line of the HRH visit. I mean, any one of us could be a subversive. Nasty.
Subversive? Us lot? It's a bit daft, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, of course it is.
Of course, Sergeant Beck and I won't have any truck with the communists. Prefer our ales to vodka. Take someone like you, for example.
Example of what?
Well, you just had a red-hot, passionate affair with that well-known Trotskyite, that Melisande Duffy.
Hey, roundabout, Sarge, what are you talking about?
Well, did you or didn't you recently embrace Trotskyitism? If not philosophically, then certainly physically, in the very acceptable shape of Ms. Duffy.
A tiny little fling with her.
Tiny. That wasn't the impression I got. The point is, Roland, were you untainted politically by your madcap passion?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Madcap passion?
Talking about you, lad. But that's not important. What's important is, are they talking about you?
I don't believe this.
When it comes to a royal visit, do you think those people can afford to take chances with a bloke like you, whose politics may be as dubious as his dodgy morals?
They won't know about me and Melisande.
What do you think they're paid for? To sit around all day playing with bullet-firing cigar cases? Their job is to know about you, Roland.
Hey, come on, Sarge. You're kidding me, aren't you, eh?
I don't kid, Roland. I never kid. At the least, you'll be quietly put away somewhere for the visit. At the most, they'll put Mickey Fins in your coffee. Mind you, it's your usual lousy coffee. It can only improve the rotten taste. Hark me to Sergeant Beck.
Sergeant Beck, see you.
Message from Inspector Darby. Could you come in and see her?
Say in half an hour.
In about half an hour?
Yeah, will do.
I shall be at Miss V. Bastien's, 27 Corona Gardens.
Right, well.
Listen, about Miss Duffy.
The subject's closed. I don't want to discuss it. If you're running a spy network from this station, I don't want to be implicated.
Spy network? It's bloody potty.
Is it?
That one now, Noel spoke well of her last time out at Newbury. Over a mile and a quarter, she could get...
Thank you very much. Miss Bastien, is it?
Yes?
Although there are some who would say the Princess de Vasincourt.
Are there now? And are you one of those who would say that? Or are you one of those who say the stupid old woman's off her head?
I've read your letters, ma'am, in the Telegraph. Police inspector.
Really? What can I do for you?
I wondered if we might have a talk.
I see. Please sit down. Would you have time to join me in a coffee?
Thank you.
It's my last luxury, good coffee. I've met some local police before, but not you, I think.
I haven't been here all that long.
Are used to see quite a lot of Sergeant Beck.
Oh, yeah?
Such a kind man. He would sometimes place the occasional bet for me.
I see.
I'd put money in an envelope and he'd take it to the betting shop. The betting shops of Artie are not the most salubrious of places.
Agreed.
It's a strange existence. In 1942 with the Maquis, we used to take on the Boche day in, day out. Now I'm forced to worry about some teenage mugger attacking me outside a betting shop.
May I ask how long you've been in Hartley?
You may, yes, since 1946.
May I ask why you came here?
I think you'll find my affair with Major Crabtree well documented at that time in the local press. I met him when he was parachuted into France to help organize the Maquis. He had mills in this area. After the war, I returned here as his mistress. He died in the same year as his wife, 1955. I stayed on.
You'll have heard about this royal visit the day after tomorrow.
Oh, yes. I'm quite looking forward to it.
Can I ask what you think of our royal family?
Well, of course, they're imposters, aren't they?
Are they?
Oh, yes. Even a superficial examination of the record, and you will see they have absolutely no claim to the English throne. Of course, they're a particular source of irritation to me, because ultimately they are the people who control the lackeys who refuse to legitimize my title.
So you're not too keen on them?
I would put it a little stronger than that.
Oh?
Are you worried that I might throw a bomb down on them?
No.
I used to assemble bombs for the Maquis, you know.
I see.
But the day after tomorrow, I may have a more pressing engagement. There's a good card at Haydock Park. I'll probably be there. But no promises.
Well, Miss Bastien, to put it bluntly, we have to be 100% positive about the security of the royal route.
And you may be back to check on me.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that's all right. Oh, the kettle's boiling.
Tomorrow.
What is it?
The job.
What job, Stanley?
The job, the big one.
The big one. Mm-hmm.
Thing is, Sergeant Beck, caper's only on if I go too.
You?
I'm the wheels, me.
Hey?
So when you hit like, you have to let me take it on me toes, yeah?
Stanley, listen. I don't get to see that much telly, so in English, yeah? What you're saying is, tomorrow, there's this job.
What Dalton and this Scotch fella's putting together, yeah?
And you're to be the driver?
Affirmative.
You'll not mind me asking, Stanley, but why you?
Aye.
Why, Stanley?
Well, you know the one they call Nigel, little scouse fella? Well, it were to have been Nigel, only he fell off a ladder, sprained his arm.
So when he couldn't get Scouse Nigel, Dalton propositioned you?
Aye. He's a psycho, you know, Dalton. I done me bird with him, didn't I?
What?
I knew him in Slammer when I were doing bird.
You never did any bird. You were on remand was all, for screwing your gas meter.
Fraud?
Fiddling the HB on your moped then. And now you're the wheels for Dalton. What to do, Stanley? Bank heist, is it? Knocking over a load of bullion, yeah?
Warehouse.
what warehouse?
I don't know.
Where?
I don't know.
If you don't know what warehouse, Stanley, how are we going to stake it out?
It's me that'll shift gear.
What gear?
What, the thief from warehouse? I don't know. Do I what gear until the thief did?
What you're telling me is tomorrow there's this job, it's team-handed, and you're going to drive the getaway car.
Truck.
Eh?
Truck. 3-ton truck.
Bloody hell.
To bring thief gear to slaughter.
Slaughter?
Running. Where does this fella who'll punt out gear?
Who, Stanley?
Ah, well, he's on you.
If you're going to pull a job and you don't tell me all about it, you'll take your chances. So where's the fence?
Talavera Street.
Talavera Street tomorrow. I'll need to know more than that.
The one who's having the gear away is the one they call Bangalore Fred. In with Bonmart Exchange and Bazaar.
Oh, no. Not Bhattacharya.
Good day to you, Mr. Bhattacharya.
Good day to you, Your Highness.
Yesterday was not a good day, was it?
No. Well, sadly for us, Willie Carson's man didn't get tripped for once.
One might say, Mr. Bhattacharya, it was no better than a lame donkey.
Yes, well, one does the best one can.
What is the best one can with this?
Ah, right. Excuse me. The best one can with this is... Ah, it's not, I'm sorry to say, Bhattacharya's Bonmart Exchange and Bazaar. No. No, well, you must take it to Sotheby's.
I don't have time, Mr. Bhattacharya. I don't have time.
Yes, well, very beautiful. Costume jewelry, of course, but, well... Aye, worth several £100.
Given to me by my aunt, the Princess Eugenie.
Well, yes, of course, Your Highness, of course, if you say so.
I do say so.
Well, madam, see, I don't know where I can lay my hands on half the money to buy this from you.
Well then, Mr. Bhattacharya, you give me what you have.
But it's wrong, you see. Well, all I could give you is, say, £100.
That will have to do, Mr. Bhattacharya. The day after tomorrow, where I'm going, I shall no longer require money. The point is, Mr. Bhattacharya, I want to place one last enormous bet on a horse.
Not only will I not be on duty here the day after tomorrow, I'll also possibly not be in the area. So, I've taken the operation order for the royal visit and made the appropriate alterations to your duties. Have a look at them and let me know your comments.
I want to report some words I've had with an informant about the screwing of a warehouse somewhere off us and the dropping of the gear in Hartley.
Can not pass the information to CID, Joseph. It sounds more their scene. What I want to know from you is how well you know Miss V. Bastien, Corona Gardens.
I know her, ma'am, not too well.
You used to put bets on for her.
Some time ago, I used to come down Talavera Street on my way to work. She'd give me an envelope and I'd drop it off at the bookies, that's all.
Yes. Well, what do you think of her?
Well, she's a kind, gentle old lady with a fine eye for horseflesh.
Has she ever been in trouble over the years?
Good grief, ma'am, not her. She's all sweetness and light.
Do we know anything else about her?
No, Mum.
All right, thank you. That's all for now.
Ma'am, I've got this information.
I'll have a word with CID, Joseph. I'm a bit pushed at the moment. Is it so pressing?
Permission to assist CID if anything comes of it.
Oh, yes, Joseph, of course.
Thank you.
फिर आइए हाँ अच्छा नमस्कार Well, let's hear it then.
There'll be 48 boxes. 1 dozen silk head scarves to each box. Price in a posh London shop, say 20 quid a piece. That's 15 grand.
12 grand.
Ah, but our price to you, 5 grand. That right, Dalton? 48 boxes?
Yeah, well, perhaps they're too many.
What's the wee tinker saying?
What I'm saying... Steady, I have a customer for your goods, but he didn't want delivery for a week. Now, you want paying straight away, right?
Oh.
So I have to put up the money.
Huh?
It's what industry is calling a cash flow problem, isn't it?
Listen, Tinker. That's not our problem. We made a deal together. We deliver, you pay. Or I'm going to cut your head off.
Listen, you Scotch git. If the tinker doesn't pay, it's down to me. It'll be more than just cut his head off.
Thing is, Joe, did you encourage Stanley to take part in this caper?
Don't be daft.
And he's not doing much?
He says he's driving a truck. But if Dalton and his mob have any sense, they'll keep his role to a minimum.
Trouble is...
What?
When the learned judge asks how come you let Stanley take it on his toes down Talavera Street, yet lifted the others...
His barrister's now screaming that me and Stanley set him on.
You could get an horrible bloody nose in the witness box.
So?
Tell it to the jacks.
I already have. Who's your snout, says Dave Melchett.
Perish the thought, says you, that the good Sergeant Beck would ever disclose the name of a secret and reliable source.
But seeing who it is, says I, and as he'll likely get me a bloody nose in the witness box, my secret and reliable source is...
Accrington Stanley.
Right.
Fell about laughing, yeah?
Yeah. You're off your trolley, Sergeant Beck, says Dave Melchett, or maybe K-like. Anyhow, we need to stop laughing. You reckon that this team will be Willie Barr,
Dalton,
Barr, Stanley, Dalton. These three. The greatest of these is Dalton.
Look, I wonder if it's convenient to have another word.
Oh, but of course, my dear. I knew you'd be back. Please, come in.
Oh, you're not eating your tea?
No, I don't eat tea. Dinner, as at the Russian Imperial Court, I have at 9. Please be seated. Oh, you look very attractive out of your uniform.
Thank you.
I have always hated uniforms. I think that's why I was quite keen to have a go at the Boche. Hated their uniforms. Will you join me in the piano, my dear?
Thank you, no.
Well, excuse me.
When you had a go, Miss Bastien, well, can I ask you, did you ever kill any Germans?
Yes, but of course.
Oh.
I was a crack shot, you see. Wasted, of course.
Wasted?
Well, we only had Sten guns, quite unsophisticated. Before the war, I shot for France. I was at Bisley several times. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, by the way, I'm not going to Adok Park day after tomorrow, and I will be here to at least call down some of my complaints to your royal personages, and I have taken the precaution of telephoning my lawyer. Do you know Mr. Parry Harkness?
Yes, I know Mr. Parry Harkness.
Now, he tells me I am only to leave this room if you formally arrest me. That way we would have recourse for false arrest.
I see.
I also asked him whether it would be possible for him to be in the hall downstairs at the time of the royal arrival, in case you came to remove me. He's thinking about it.
I see.
What's troubling you, my dear? I'm just an old woman at the end of her days.
Well, I don't think you are.
How's that?
Well, before you told me you were a crack shot at killing Germans, a part of the reason I came here is I wondered if there was any possibility of your coming to talk about your war experiences to the local branch of the Soroptimists.
Really?
Yes.
No. Old people shouldn't talk about their war experiences. All they remember is the exaggerated cliché. Does no service to their comrades who gave their lives in real and appalling conditions.
Well, you could talk about that.
What?
What you just said.
Thank you for your kind invitation, my dear. The Soroptimists. I'm extremely flattered. Was there anything else you wanted to know?
No. I came to ask you your movements. You've told me that you'll be here and probably calling down your complaints.
And you can't arrest me for that?
No.
May I talk to you tomorrow? May I telephone you at the station?
Yes, of course. Well, good night then.
Where have you been?
I just walked up Torridge, looked down over the moor. The early morning with the mist rising, it's a thing. A moment of rare beauty.
Hey, Lofty, where's this night watchman, then?
You said regular as if time be a clock. He slopes off 6 a.m. for newspapers and chinwag with his mate at station.
That's what I said. That's it. Right, lads, we're 35 minutes. In, out, and away.
What's wrong with this bloody van?
Mount.
What's wrong with it?
I said mount.
You said the silk scarves would be in small boxes.
small boxes inside crates. Come on. Come on, let's get the ship. Listen, you. If this thing don't start, I'm going to smash your head with every rusting edge of it.
It'll start.
You told me you'd a special van for thieving job. With an eye-tuned engine that'd show a clean pair of wheels to any police Jaguar.
I said police car. I meant Allegro, like. Not Jaguar. Allegro.
Allegro, is it? I've a bloody good case of not having an engine in this thing. All I can hear is a rotten starter. Why aren't you turning it?
I've rested battery.
I'll give you a resting battery.
Now, it's running, I told you. Get up. Gotcha. Go.
Come on. Come on.
Now then, got a problem?
Van's broke down.
I can see that. You sent for help?
No, our mate here's an ace mechanic.
Well, about an hour from now, this is going to be a really busy road, you know. If you don't get it shifted, you're going to cause quite an obstruction.
Looks like it were petrol starvation from a weak pump. Trouble is, bloody battery's run down now. We just might be able to push start it.
Well, you get aboard then. We'll give him an hand to push it, eh? Come on, then. You ready, then?
Ready.
Ma'am,
Yes.
this is it.
This is what?
I didn't get a chance to tell you yesterday. An old informant of mine, Accrington Stanley.
Who?
Ma'am, this is important. Accrington Stanley informed me that he was to be the wheels in a big job to be pulled today by a team comprising himself and two other villains, Dalton and Barr. He was to be the wheels, but he didn't know what the job was.
By wheels, you mean he was driving the others?
Yes, ma'am. Last night, Shed 17, that's bordering runway 3 at Manchester Airport, was broken into and a valuable
Hang on. Do you mean to tell me that you knew there was to be a job and you allowed your informant to go off and be party to committing a crime?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't tell me?
I did try to tell you, ma'am.
I didn't realise it was potentially so serious, Joseph. You should have made that clear yesterday. A matter like this can blow up in your face.
Yes, I realise that.
What else?
The dropping-off place is to be Bangalore Fred's.
Yes, Anne?
CID have been keeping an eye on the place for the last hour, but nothing's happened as yet.
What about this Manchester theft?
Industrial diamonds, estimated value £71,550.
Doesn't sound like Bhattacharya's cup of tea.
You never know, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, Mum, I just wanted a word with Sergeant Beck. Are you coming, Joe, or shall I go without you?
Yes, I'm coming if...
Yes, Joseph, go. We can have discussion about ethics after the event, if there is one.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Put her through. Good morning, Miss Bastian.
Is it, my dear? It looks rather cloudy. I hope that's not here to stay and ruin the royal visit tomorrow.
What can I do for you, Miss Bastien?
I'm still laughing in your face, Joe, if you're telling me that Stanley's had it away with 71,000 in industrial diamonds.
Yeah, well, you may end up laughing on the other side of your face.
Come on, I know him as well as you. 2 years ago, he reckoned he had the score on that organised shoplifting gang. Nearly ended up charging him with wasting police time. Nah, he's made a career out of living in a fantasy world of villainy and touching up gullible cops for his snout money.
Well, I hope to God you're right and I'm wrong.
Bloody hell, here they are. Right, Joe. Let them get inside, then we'll jump them.
All clear?
Aye.
Let's get on with it then.
Hey, we're here. Where do you want him? I come to make sure no customers come in, will you? Right, put it down here. Right. Hey, you said scarves would be pre-packed in small boxes. What's this?
Little boxes inside these crates.
Bloody hell. Flags.
Flags? Guildford and Ellis Islands Independence Day celebrations. 32 dozen. Treat as rags for reprocessing.
Look, I could use them tomorrow for royal visits. People don't care what flag it is, they just want someone to wave about. Now, I'll be generous. I'll give you £10 for lot.
Oh, it's all got to be done to you, Lofty, you stupid, mindless, big-brained lump! Shut it, son. I haven't even started. I think I'm going to give you a kicking.
Hey, come on, you two, stop it! Stop it! Oh, I'm getting out of here. Stand still, everybody. We're police officers. Dalton Bar, you're under arrest.
Hey, that is here. Come here. Where do you think you're going?
For flags? Over a few flags? You're the one that's stupid, pig-brained. I'm coming in.
You too, Stanley. You and I have things to talk about.
Wait here, George.
Yes, Mum.
Come in, my dear. Sit down. Just in time for coffee.
No, thank you very much.
As you wish. Well, now, what is your up-to-the-minute decision about me?
I'm afraid that, come what may, despite your lawyer and any manoeuvres about false arrest, I am going to make sure that you are not anywhere near the royal visit tomorrow.
You're very strong-willed.
I think you are.
You are quite a shock to me. I mean, your intrusion into my life has been quite a shock.
I'm sorry.
I seem to have spent such a long time alone in this room. Years and years. I've no real friends. Just Mr. Bhattacharya, who occasionally likes to rob me, and a dozen vague acquaintances seen at racetracks. And then you walk in here yesterday and invite me to talk to your sour optimists. That invitation's still open?
Yes.
I'm thinking about it, my dear. What a strong, self-willed girl you must be to have become a police person of rank. When you came yesterday, you reminded me of somebody. Last night I realized you reminded me of myself years ago, when I had strength of body to match my strength of mind. And I was quite dangerous.
There will be no protest tomorrow.
I know that. There will be no protest because you've succeeded with me on one single count. I didn't want to start to like you. I failed in that. Oh, you've seen all the bunting in the streets. It looks so lovely. Such a pity to miss it.
Where will you be, Miss Bastian?
I've got a small confession to make. Yes? Remember I was saying I was the mistress of a marvellous man, Harry Major H.H. Crabtree?
Yes.
When Harry knew he was dying, he gave me certain personal mementos, you know? Little things to remind me of our times together. One of the things he gave me was this. And I had the ammunition. I think you should have it. You know, I might be burgled. Something like that.
Is this gun in working order?
I think so, my dear.
You know, I'll have to report this.
Of course. Now, the royal visit. I understand they arrive below at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Well, I have bought a ticket for London tomorrow. A train ticket for 9 a.m. If you'd like to see me off, dear. If you'd like to have some nice policeman make sure I get on the train. Then I shall be on the outskirts of London when the royals arrive below.
Yes, Miss Bastian, I think we would like to see you off.
Voilà, c'est tout.
Sergeant Beck, my office.
Right. Here, take that in the locker room. Sit with it till I find out what to do with it.
Hey. A machine gun. What's it for?
It's just come through. Special branch are now allowed to shoot subversives. Headquarters, Chief Inspector Walton, please.
Gilbert and Ellis Independence flags.
Now long gone, ma'am. Independence Day, that is.
And how do you propose to handle in your report your pre-knowledge of your informant committing a crime?
All I can say, ma'am, is that I shall handle it to the best of my abilities and accept any censure there is.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sergeant Beck.
Yes, ma'am.
I shall be on duty here as usual tomorrow. I'm seeing an old lady off on a train to London. She thinks she's catching the 9 a.m., but that stops en route. I'm putting her on the 9:15 intercity, no stops. Amend the operational order.
Yes, ma'am.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.